What's up, guys? So this video is going to be over genetics and personality type development. So a little bit of background here so you get where I'm coming from. My mom is a monozygotic twin, or an identical twin, and what is referred to as an identical twin. And if you don't know anything about identical twins, you know that they're somewhat of a biological anomaly. And what they mean by identical is that they have virtually the same DNA. The zygote splits and separates into two fetuses, essentially, and that means that these two fetuses have virtually the same genetic information because they have, because they came from the same sperm cell and the same egg. So they're essentially, biologically speaking, they're the same person. But even though they have the same genetic information, with the exception of maybe a few genetic mutations that happen during development, which is only natural, it occurs in all of us. So why do these it's always interested me how these people who are essentially the same person can develop into completely different individuals, oftentimes significantly different individuals, just because of their environment. And what I wanted to study was, at least on a minor scale, was the effect of environment, just how much of an effect our environment has on our personality type development. And okay, so my aunt has spent most of her life in the Middle East as a missionary wife, and my mother has spent most of her adult life in the Midwestern United States, where we live now. So these are two, if you don't know anything about these two places, these are two very, very different places culturally, as far as climate is concerned, but culture is the big one. Society, I tend to believe that society shapes our personality in ways that we can't even comprehend. But I wanted to conduct a short study on my mom and my aunt to determine just how much of an effect it has. And what I did was I took 2 online personality tests. I used more than one, of course, because I wanted to check for consistencies in type. And so what I did was I sent my aunt the same 2 tests that my mom took, and they both tested consistently for these 2 types on both tests. So my aunt was an ISFJ, my mom was an ESFJ. And what's very interesting here is that if you dive into the cognitive functions of both these types and the cognitive stacks, you'll find that they have the same cognitive functions, just organized differently. And that interested me, that made me curious, and it made me maybe not really conclude, but I drew up a theory that might interest you guys that are watching this. I drew up a theory that the cognitive functions of a certain person are determined largely by genetics, and then the organization of your cognitive stack, basically the way that these cognitive functions are organized, is based on your environment, as far as how you developed due to your environment and due to environmental factors. So the ISFJ, I'll go through their cognitive functions just real fast, just so you have them. You can see where I'm coming from. The ISFJ, or my aunt, has a dominant function of introverted sensing, followed by the extroverted feeling, introverted thinking, and extroverted intuition. And my mother, who is the ESFJ, has the dominant function of extroverted feeling, introverted sensing, extroverted intuition, and introverted thinking. And yeah, like I said, they're all the same functions, just organized differently in 2 different stacks, which yeah, that is interesting in itself. And what really made me want to look into genetics is the fact that I'm an ENTP. I'm an ENTP, and um, yeah, in most of my immediate family anyway, largely consisted anyway, of introverted sensors and extroverted sensors. And my dad is the only. I'm not entirely sure of this. I've tested him one time, and he may be this or he may not be this. I may have to test him again, but he is an INFP. He tested as an INFP, and yeah, and the INFP, I'll give you his cognitive functions as well, just so you have that information. The INFP's cognitive functions are introverted feeling, extroverted intuition, introverted sensing, and extroverted thinking. So, I was wondering originally why I turned out ENTP, and then I started looking into all of these cognitive functions, and I came up with the fact that both my parents have extroverted intuition. Oh, if you don't know, I'll go through the ENTP's cognitive functions real fast too. The most important function, or the dominant function in the ENTP's or my functional stack, is extroverted intuition, and then it's probably what ENTPs are most known for, is their extroverted intuition. It's a very interesting cognitive function. The extroverted intuition is the dominant function, like I said, and then followed by the introverted thinking and the extroverted feeling and the introverted sensing. So, once I started looking into these cognitive functions, I found out rather, that extroverted intuition, like I said, is my dominant function. It's present in both my mom and my dad. It's not very strong in those two types, the INFP and the ESFJ, but it's still there, and maybe that was passed on to me somehow genetically, and that's how I got my thought process, the extroverted intuition. So yeah, I wanted to kind of hopefully just put this information out there, because I don't believe there's a lot of it, largely due to the fact that a lot of people don't believe that MBTI is an absolute science. It really isn't an absolute science, but there's a lot of stuff in psychology that isn't an absolute science. A lot of it is conceptual in nature, and I think it's hardly fair to throw out MBTI and say that there's no real benefit to studying this model of personality, MBTI, or Carl Jung's model, and these cognitive functions, because I believe there's a lot of benefit to this. And that's me going off on a tangent. Basically, I wanted to just present this information to you so you could draw some theories and conclusions using it. Like I said, it's not extensive research by any means, but it's information nonetheless, and I thought that you guys might want it. The MBTI community on YouTube might enjoy having this little morsel of information. And yeah, so also what I wanted to say was I really need some help. If you have anything you want to ask, just write a comment and then ask it, and because I really want to. What I would like to do is have you guys tell me what videos you want me to do. As an ENTP, what you want to know about me, or what you want to know about what I think about things, or how I think about things, and just any of that, or just any questions in general, if they're appropriate. I will answer them in the appropriate manner. Maybe that would be a video or just a comment, and I'll get back to you in a fairly short amount of time. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to have, like I said, have this information, and I also wanted to tell you that I'm open to your ideas as far as video subjects are concerned, and I would like you to ask me questions. I would like you to give me ideas for videos. Let me know what you want to hear, and with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this short video on genetics, and yeah, if you liked this video, just leave a like so I know that you liked it, and that people are actually watching these videos and enjoying them, enjoying the subject and the content. and that would be very appreciated. And also subscribe to my channel, because that helps me out a lot too. That helps me determine whether people are actually listening, and whether I actually have an audience when I'm making these things. So yeah, thanks for watching, like I said, and don't forget to like this video.